We're here for the vibe check. Come in for the vibe check. But yeah, welcome to our vibey channel. Let's get into it. Now, I wonder how many of you can read binary, if you can. And what I will say is, repetition is vastly important. And it's freaking hilarious how you can repeat the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And it'll be ingrained inside of your head. That's the power of repetition. When you repeat something over and over and over again, it gets ingrained inside of your head. But you want to know what really sticks inside of your head? Strong emotions. Meaning, if you tie a specific thing or a specific task with a specific motion, you'll create or amplify, you'll amplify the effects that that motion or that energy inside of you produces. Meaning, if you feel happy, or when you start a project, you usually feel jittery. Whenever you make music, go and do it. Even if it's tiring. And this is a message to myself, because sometimes, man, I do love music, but sometimes I just don't be wanting to record it. And in those moments, I have to really say to y'all, don't be afraid to just do it and not care. Because that's how you'll really maintain your happiness. And here's another subject, how when you're traveling with a person, you feel love or you feel something whenever you're around them. That comes from repetition of the same thing happening over and over and over and over and over again. And when this repetition happens over and over again, guess what tends to happen? That's right. What tends to happen with repetition is an ingranation thereof, meaning that no matter how many times you yourself may, for a better lack of a term or phrase, be healed, there will still be a certain part of you that's like, I don't trust them because of the repeated actions that they constantly do. So it's kind of like how should I put this? It's kind of like self-sabotage to the ones who want to come in after they try to put you down, but you know they tried to put you down. No matter how many times they may give to you, it'll still feel like you don't trust them. And that's mainly because of the fact that you really can't trust them. And by the way, PMJ was goody. And yeah, it's because of the fact that you really can't trust them because they did the same thing over and over again, instilling a certain type of emotion every single time. And when that happens, when they try to come in being your number one hero, you can't even trust them for real, for real. In fact, you push them away when they try to change. And that's what's sad, is that the people that you had faith in because they were attacking you repeatedly, those be the ones that have to suffer the fact that they can't have the full version of you, which truly shows how powerful your emotions are in terms of how you remember things. Meaning, whenever you are singing a song, and this is most important, especially in my binary song, when you are singing a song and it's catchy, you'll remember parts of the lyrics. Because I know there are most of you out there right now who can put on a song, or you don't even have to put on a song, and you can just say the lyric like that, because that feeling that was invoked is not necessarily an emotion, but it's a feeling. And that feeling you feel whenever you sing that song, that's how it's ingrained inside of your memory. And so in terms of you wanting to remember things or wanting to remember people's names, remember dates, remember anything, try tying an emotion to it, or try tying a specific feeling of how it feels. And what I mean by that is basically a mental placebo effect, how you can just imagine yourself being hot or feeling the sun's rays without you really being outside. If you can do that in terms of music, in terms of family, friends, or anyone else, to a point, because sometimes that point can reach delusion. And if you want to live in delusion, that's you. But if you can reach that point, you'll be able to remember so many things like that because your emotions are tied to your memory. And I believe that's why people are capable of remembering things without them knowing how they know it. Because they felt a certain type of emotion when they either experienced it or when something happened. Even though it was once. And then again. Hold on, there we go. Recoup your energy. Even something as simple as that, when I feel pressure, I always get that feeling of let me pause and breathe, because that helps me every single time. And that's ingrained in my memory, so I do it automatically. And when you do it enough and you tie an emotion to it so that you can constantly do it, now you're able to do it like that, like this, like this, like this, like that. And it's similar to how artists, I wouldn't say the most talented artists, but those artists who love what they do, is similar to how they were able to create or paint or draw so many amazing art styles. And that's because they have a love for drawing. No matter if it was like for 1 minute, 10 minutes, an hour, or a day, they just love to draw, and they constantly kept doing it to the point where when they pick up that pen, they instantly feel ecstatic. They feel exhilarated because they are able to tie that emotion of how it felt drawing with a happy emotion. And that's how powerful emotions are into remembering anything that you want. Yeah, and with that, we're gonna leave it off at that. Let me go check y'all commenties. Karadasak, Tuna BB was goody. Kyra Gully was goody. Let's see, what's good. But yeah, I'm just gonna go and chill. One more topic before we get off though. And then it somehow ties into what I was discussing with how people can remember via their emotions. Maybe that's what ancestral pain is. Really, that's made. Oh, has anyone ever thought about how genes that are passed down to kids can hold memory? Like, genetically speaking, you could just be scared of a snake or scared of something like a spider, a ladybug, or something like that without ever encountering it. And that's how deep it goes. Because your parents or someone down your lineage who is directly connected to you via your mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, or whoever, they experienced something with that, a specific fear that somehow got translated into you and your whole generation before. Which is how so many people can be scared of something without knowing why they're scared of it. Which is what makes it really curious, because that would mean that that knowledge was forgotten on how or why that person was scared. Which kind of puts into perspective why you have to keep clarifying to people why this person was scared of this, based on that time frame that they were in, based on the time period, and based on why they felt that way on that time period. Let's say in the 1920s, your great-grands were scared of dogs because there were a lot of dogs that were aggressive, to say the least. And then all of a sudden, it's 2024, not 2025, 2024, last year. And now you come across a dog randomly and you're just scared for no reason whatsoever. And you know for a fact that these dogs won't hurt you, but you're scared and you don't know why. And I'm not gonna say blame your parents, but put the blame on their genes, because that fear was translated from them into you, which came from their parents' parents, which came from the original source, which was the great-grandparents. And that's how deep fear can go. That's how deep an emotion can go, to the point where they can carry the reverberation, allowing the after generations to experience the same exact thing. Reverberation is the perfect word for this. Because if you know anything about acoustics, you know exactly how, I don't know who that is, but you know exactly how sound waves, before they dissipate, they always resonate and reverberate that energy before it is completely gone. And because of that, that is what we, not some, but most people in the population, no matter if you consider race, sex, gender, or whatever, that is what we experience. That is why so many people of our skin tones are still experiencing the same exact thing over and over and over again. That's why they still believe that people of the opposite skin tone or color, if there even is an opposite, are going to hurt them, while others have already looked past that and healed that. And that's because of this simple fact. Environments change, people change, the status quo changes, everything changes, and because everything changes, you have to adapt. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you healed. Adapting doesn't mean healing, adapting means survival. And because of that single fact, you'll have people who succeed in life, but they still haven't gotten over the traumas that they experienced because of how they were so focused on surviving, for the better lack of a term. And so for all of you who want to be able to change the world, start with your traumas that were not yours. Start with the traumas that weren't yours. Get to the root of it, get to the cause of it, get to why you feel like that. And realize that that trauma does not control you. You have control over your emotions. You have control over how you express those emotions. You can feel them, but you don't have to act on them. Ooh, got ashy jaws. But yeah, you can feel your emotions, but you don't have to act on them, because that is survival. Acting on your emotions is survival. Responding and healing how you respond to those emotions is true growth. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And I think I am on a Japan server. Dang. Again, to everyone. Okay, to everyone that's speaking Japanese, I apologize. But at the same exact time, it's a non-apology, because I got on live doing whatever. But yeah, that is how we heal that trauma. We have to get to the root cause and take it out, dissect it even. And when you're able to dissect it, when you're able to take the root cause and destroy it completely from your bloodline and everyone else in your entire life, you and everyone else that comes after you are able to succeed in many ways that nobody has ever expressed before. You can have bravery and courage to do the things that you want. But unless you have faith and trust that no matter if you lose it all or gain it back, you'll still be okay, that is when you will either stay in your trauma or you choose to move on from that trauma. The choice is yours. And I'm gonna leave it at that, because I want to try one more time, because I really believe that my ancestors right now are trying to get a specific message to make it hit for me personally. There is a specific trauma that you keep reliving because you are in survival mode. instead of thriving mode. You don't have to respond to every single stimuli, but you do have to respond in a way that heals that inside of you. Once it heals that inside of you, that's when you're able to move on. That's when you're able to feel good, being yourself and not caring what anyone else has to say, think, or do. You are okay in who you are because you are able to handle whatever has triggered you constantly every single day. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And as always, stay peaceful, blessed up, miracled up, and know that you will appreciate what's taken care of by divine and wonderful Father, our high self, God, as well as everyone that truly and genuinely enabling cares about you deep within the souls. Always remember that here you are loved. We care about you here. If no one else does, we do. I do know that no matter what, we are always here to give you that listening ear. Don't be afraid to talk to us or with us. We're always here for you when you need love. Community tab is always on my YouTube. Hit it up. When you need somebody to talk to, no matter if it's small or large, we're here for you. And don't forget to smile today, okay? Okay, now come in for this hug. Yeah, come in. Yeah. And thank you. I seen that. Thank you. Dynamic Quotes SK9RP. Thank you. Thank you for the love. And I wish the best for you and everyone else that loves you, okay? And as always, a shady sound adios. Yeah.